From the quarterback to the defense, there's a lot of reasons to feel confident about the Oklahoma Sooners in 2025.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is right around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future's bets now over at FanDuel. He's Jay Smith of Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel covering college football and the Oklahoma Sooners over there. You can follow me and check out my work over at SoonersWire.com. And it is Friday Fan Feels. We're reacting to your feelings on the Oklahoma Sooners entering the 2025 college football season. And I'm glad to hear that a lot of y'all are as confident as we are about Oklahoma and where they're heading. So Jay, we're going to jump right into this because we got a lot of great reactions. We're going to start with this one. Comes from Robert Shodine. He says, just hoping everything we've done rebuilding this team, adding to it through the portal will pay off big time, and everyone will see and say OU is back. 10-2.
I got to give it to him. I like that he pointed out that all the stuff that's been done in the background. One of the things that I feel like a lot of fans have not given this staff credit for, we emphasize this a lot. This staff really likes their recruits. Mm-hmm. They like the players that they bring in, and if you look at the vast majority of this roster, that's what it is. Only thing that we're not leading the way in truly is right now at quarterback and running back, and some of the wide receivers. So you saw a mixed hodgepodge, but most of your offensive line are players that they've recruited with some mixtures of transfers. Defensive line is mainly guys they've recruited. Linebacker room is mainly guys that they recruited. Secondary is now mainly guys they recruited. So that was probably the one room, if anything, John, defensive back, that was full of a lot of transfer guys, if you really think about it. And Kendall Dobie is considered a recruit because he came from JUCO. So that's a completely different animal in the conversation because that's very common. But you don't have a ton of just transfer guys out there. Offense, to me, is a little bit easier to transfer in, especially like the skills position guys. But this staff has shown they really like their players, and they're going to play a lot of their guys. So I think the rebuild, to be honest, is probably done.
It is, and the future is bright on the offensive side. Like, even if most of, if not the entirety of the starting lineup on offense is transfers, you look at the guys that are in the two deep: Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foje, Eddie Pierre-Louis, Heath Ozida, Logan Howland on the offensive line, Elijah Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Choice. Thank you, Manny Choice. I don't know why I thought about Emmanuel Sanders, the Denver Broncos / SMU Mustang. That's a fantasy football throwback right there.
It is.
But Michael Hawkins and Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, Torrey Blaylock, the starter level, that first team might be full of transfers, but that second team, man, it is chock full of guys they've recruited. And like you mentioned on the defensive side of the ball, it's nearly entirely guys they recruited aside from Dominic Williams, Marvin Jones Jr., and Kendall Daniels. 3 significant role players for you, but the rest of your defense, that's your guys. And that's what Brent Venables is hoping to put together on both sides of the ball. But as you mentioned, if you have to bring in wide receivers or running backs, it's easier to integrate those guys than maybe it is offensive linemen, things like that. So I like where they're headed. And I like what Robert's saying, man. It's the 6-7 season from last year, I think, really got the narratives way off the rails about Oklahoma football. And nobody was willing to look at that through the lens of the context of what happened last season that led to the 6-7 season. It wasn't that they were just simply losing games. It was that their offense was completely decimated and could not do anything to help you win games. But the defense was playing winning football. And I think that's the part of that you take away, is that Brent Venables was able to build a defense that could play winning football. Now we just got to get complementary football from the offense. And it's crazy. It's a turn of events that we didn't experience in the previous decade. It was all offense, couldn't play any defense. Well, now here we are. But this year going to have better complementary football. Next one comes here from Jeremy Yates. Jay, he says, anything can happen, but if the team stays healthy, I'm confident they will be a problem for opposing teams. Too much talent not to be.
And that's totally true. Remember that from the 2022, 2023, and 2024 classes, these are the guys that's really going to be playing. Those were all top 10 classes. So as long as Oklahoma leverages those players, the talent's there. They just got to show that they are still that blue chip talent, right? The blue chip ratio had us at number 9 in the country. So we're in the top 16 of teams 18 teams that could win a national championship technically based upon that. Last year we were also up there. It's just, things just did not work out with
all your blue
youth.
chips get hurt.
Right. Yeah, all your blue chips get hurt. You ain't gonna win anything, right? Well, now we're more healthier. And that's the thing that's also most important. When you add the health that we have on this roster, we're built specifically to be able to compete right now this season. And this is the year, honestly, I penciled this year in when I said that if there was a time for Oklahoma to make a title run, it would be 25. Said 24 will be a year of us, really establishing our young players. And then 25 will be the year that we actually push for a natty. Sucks because 24 was just abysmal, but we did set a foundation on defense. Now that we got a quarterback who appears to be someone special, we may be actually able to do that, John.
When you mentioned some of the young guys, even on offense, like Heath Ozida got a ton of significant snaps last year.
Ton of snaps.
Logan Howland got a ton of snaps last year. Those are two guys. I mean, Heath Ozida is probably going to start for you at left guard. Logan Howland, if Derek Simmons isn't ready to play, he could start for you at right tackle. And while a lot of people might gasp at the idea of that, let's consider the fact that these guys can get better, and they got better as the season went along last year. So
can they get better?
Jay's being facetious.
Because that's what fans keep telling me, that they can't get better. I'm just wondering, just making sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah. I'm really glad that, we didn't completely write off a guy like Grayson Halton or R. Mason Thomas because of injuries or because of a lack of quote unquote development. No, you have a little patience, bide your time, let it play out.
Have a Snickers.
You're less angry when you're not hungry. I think there's a lot to be said for if everybody stays healthy. If the team is reasonably healthy, injuries are going to happen. You're going to lose a guy here or there. But if you're just reasonably healthy, you know what I mean? Like, had this team not lost 4 centers to start the season, been down a left tackle or 2 early in the first half of the year, lost just 2 or 3 of their top 6 wide receivers, maybe last year plays out a little bit differently. There's no guarantee, but maybe it does. And if it plays out just a little bit better on offense, maybe that team wins 7, 8 games. And we might feel a little bit differently about what that season was for Oklahoma than we do right now. All right, next one. This one comes from Bill Nye. I don't know if it's the science guy or not, but so I had us going 8-4 a month ago, but now I'm feeling 9-3 or 10-2. It's science, man.
Someone's getting a little froggy over there, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah,
it's easy to shift it when you see the not only the good reports coming out about the team in practice and in scrimmage. I mean, it's against themselves, but at the same time, John Mateers is going up against an SEC caliber defense, and if he's finding some success, but not finding constant success, that's a good thing. That means that the adjustments that need to be made, that Ben Arbuckle will make, will actually happen. We have an OC, we have a quarterback that can make adjustments, and then now you'll get Jaydn Ott week 1, which I'm telling y'all, I'm expecting him to run for like 200, like in the first week.
Bold prediction.
He do that? Bold.
Go for it.
He makes that massive run. He does that 200 yards first half, and he's gone. Look. Just remember that when Michigan happens. Just remember that. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw Elijah Thomas moss somebody in one of Oklahoma's highlight videos, like for me, that was good for a win and a half. Like I was ready to bump Oklahoma up a win and a half, maybe from my previous expectations for the team. No, I'm playing a little bit.
Aggressive, but I like that.
No, but
no, you bump that up. You bump that half. You keep going up. Be like these fans. Do it.
Jay, listen. It's rare that I want to get out of my seat while I'm scrolling my Twitter and pulling up highlights. But when I saw that, I saw the true freshman from Chakotah go up above the rim and make that catch like he's Randy Moss. I was like, yes, sir. Let's go. Let's line it up right now. Because I
need football.
Elijah Thomas is about to make everybody think that Chakotah is his hometown, not the hometown of Carrie Underwood.
Ooh, that's a bar.
Let's go.
That's a bar.
All right, we got more fan feelings coming up here on Locked On Sooners, including one he's ready for them to go undefeated. He's not playing at all. Let's talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day. That's going to be a crazy day. A brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. So for 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So if you want to take a flyer at like an MVP, I'm telling you, the guy I'm looking at, just because, I'm a homer, looking at Baker Mayfield, man. If he puts up the numbers he put up last year, he may be able to try and dethrone a Lamar Jackson and a Josh Allen and a Patrick Mahomes, who will probably have good seasons, but he may put up numbers that will allow him to be that. Or maybe he leads the team to win the NFC. That will be awesome as well and dethrone the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. But guess what? You can go on FanDuel and you can participate in that Futures Day. So visit FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because because Futures Day at FanDuel is 1 day and 1 day only. FanDuel, play your game. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost your blood flow. Unlike usual pills that can take 24 hours, Rougiette 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. So, if the traditional options haven't worked, Rougiette might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. You can even read real customer reviews on their site. It helps a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. So head over to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege and use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going through your Friday fan feels on a little bonus edition of Locked On Sooners today. Week 0 is tomorrow. Football season is here. I know y'all are excited. We're going to have post-game live shows every single week here on Locked On Sooners, so make sure you've got that notification bell clicking. Just tap it a bunch of times. Make sure that you know when we go live for each post-game show so you can react with us to all the success that Oklahoma is going to have this year. Chad Reyes, Jay says, championship mindset. Feeling like 2003, 2004 squad, except this time we finish it. Boomer.
Sooner. We really do need to figure out how to finish it and close. Again, 2025 was the year I looked at from soon as Brent Venables got here. It was going to require him making that big change. He's going to have to make some adjustments. And he's actually brought us a defense similar to, what we've seen him have at Clemson. I need to see if this defense, though, can move into the top 5. I think it has the capabilities. The Michigan game is going to prove us a lot and let us know exactly where they can sit. But, man, if the defense shows out, John, if the defense comes back and be at minimum top 10, this offense will at least win them 9 games. We may even get a 10th one because that's literally the only thing we needed last year.
Yeah, it's a team that, I mean, everything's pointing toward them being a more successful team. They're going to be significantly better. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with my S's. Significantly better along the offensive line. And even if they're only a little bit better to quite a bit better, that's going to help the offense churn a whole lot better. And the fact that you've got a running back in Jaydn and really a running back depth chart that looks really good on paper from 1 to 5, like that's a really solid group of running backs. You've got a quarterback that gets the ball out quick. I think that's the thing that I've been impressed with the most with John Mateer, with seeing some of the things that we're seeing from camp, is he does not hold on to the ball. He's decisive with the football. And that's what you got to have. You got to have somebody who's going to get the ball out fast and going to get it out quick. But most importantly, again, for the offense, it's not all on the offense. They don't have to go score 40, 50 points a game for Oklahoma to go 10-2. They've got to score 30 to 35 on a regular basis. They've got to score more than their opponent. But the defense is going to help them out. The defense is going to keep teams from running away from Oklahoma. They're going to keep some of the better offenses that Oklahoma will see in the SEC, like an LSU or a South Carolina or a Texas. They're going to keep them in check just enough for these games to be close games. And then it's going to be up to your quarterback and your offensive line to come through in these tight games. Will Oklahoma be able to do that? We'll see. But I think they've done the right things in the offseason to propel them off to a much better season this year.
That's the good thing about how meticulous you've seen them be when it comes to acquisition of talent. They haven't gone after just any and everybody. They've gone after specific type players that fit what we're trying to do. Again, they like their recruits. You guys like their recruits. They like their recruits. And they're playing more of their own recruits in comparison. Last year, I know Miguel Chavis posted this like 2 years ago, and I think he mentioned it about last season as well. Actually, Brent Venables mentioned it about last season. But on the defensive side of the ball 2 years ago, we played the most freshmen, true freshmen, and sophomores in snaps. I think it was over like 5,000 snaps. We led the country in that. We were one of the top teams. They played a lot of young talent. That's in 23, right? So 24, you come in and you do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the ball, on the offensive side. You played the most freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomore of anybody else in the country, which usually leads to a situation where your record looks like that. But because you did that exact same thing in 23, those players in 24 looked dramatically better. They had the experience. They understood the scheme. They understood where they needed to be. Well, you did the same thing now on offense, and so the expectation is now on offense. They should be ready to fully adapt. Again, with the offensive line being a little bit piecemeal with, different players and different components from the portal, it's going to be a little weird. But having a ton of snaps for them will make you all a lot more comfortable than you think when you see them on the field, because they'll actually know what to do. We just need them to be able to go to the right spots, especially now that they're in a much easier offensive scheme to play in.
At 5 till midnight says, feel better than last year, that's for sure. I'm not even blinking at the schedule. I think we can win all of them. I do see 2 tough losses, though, after Texas, at South Carolina and at Alabama. Jay, I'm not as high on South Carolina as everybody else seems to be. Yes, they've got stars in Lenora Sellers and Dylan Stewart, but they lost a ton on that defensive side of the ball to the NFL draft. And I'm just not so sure that they've got the guys ready to step in and replicate what they did last year.
Yeah, I think that there is a talent drop-off on their defensive line compared to last year, but they got a lot of veterans there, so I'll give them that. They've got a lot of older players. They've got seniors at just about every position except for Dylan Stewart, who's a true sophomore. So I give them that part of it. The defense, the pass rush is not going to be as good because I don't think any of these guys are quote-unquote NFL guys, as you would see on the list of players that's going to the NFL, but they've got players that can get the job done. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a drop-off, but I do think it'll be a slight one. Dylan Stewart's still stupid, ridiculously good. So that's talent. The question I still have is who's going to be running the ball. I mean, I know Isaiah Augustov is one, right? I know, but Razul Faison, we got to understand if he's even going to be able to play. We're still, I think they're still waiting on the judgment
He's
on that.
practicing. I know that. I just don't
He's
know if
practicing. We're
he's
just waiting to
been
find out the
ruled
judgment,
eligible.
but it'll be between Oscar and Isaiah Augusta that's going to end up being the guy that's going to run the ball. But who's he going to throw the ball to? Nick Harbor is who we're waiting to see. But Lenore Sellers is going to be an exciting player to watch. The line should be veteran enough. So I'm not saying that. I think South Carolina, I understand where the hype is there. Beamer has built something, and there's a lot of internal build with some transfers that have been there multiple years. So that also helps with continuity and all of that. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I understand the South Carolina hype. I really don't think Oklahoma will get blown out again by them. I think it'll be a very honestly, I think Oklahoma should win that game on the road.
Yeah, of the road games that Oklahoma has to play, like at South Carolina, at Bama, at Tennessee, I think the South Carolina one is the one I feel the most confident in.
Tennessee for me.
Yeah, and that's a good debate. We'll discuss that maybe next week on the show. But
perfect.
Yeah, I think the Alabama game is probably the one that I feel least comfortable with. Even, like if I was going to rank the games, I felt like we're going to be the most difficult. Red River Showdown at Bama. Those are my top two. All right. Jay Shada is feeling nervous. Jay, are there reasons to feel nervous about this Oklahoma team?
Yeah, the season is about to start. I'd be nervous too. I mean, heart palpitations are already happening to everybody. They're just beating hard. Go walk around the neighborhood, drink a whole bunch of cold water.
Yep.
That'll bring your heart rate down and you'll feel a little bit better. But no, I totally understand the nervousness because it's still unknown. We still got to see, regardless of on paper, Oklahoma looks like a 10-win team. That's what they look like on paper. We got to see it on the field, though. We've got to see the execution, and we've got to see the health to go with it. And so I totally get that. I'm nervous about us. The fact that we went through training camp and we're not getting the same messages like Michigan got. Yeah, I am happy to see that ours have been minor bumps and bruise ailments. And so we've just got to wait and see what it looks like post Illinois State and post Michigan.
I get where Jay Shada, I'm assuming is Jaydn Rashada, Sacramento State quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
Funny. That's a good one.
I get where he's coming from. Like when I remember playing baseball, it didn't matter how many at bats I'd had in my youth. Every time I was about to step up to the plate, I was just getting a little bit of butterflies. Same thing happened when I played lacrosse in college and I was playing goalie. Like every time the ball started coming down the field and I was anticipating a shot, like even though I stopped a lot of them, like my anticipation for the shot started to build and I was like, all right, let's go, let's get it. And just get a little bit nervous. So, it's one of those things. It's just competitive nature. You want to see your team do well. You want to see your team succeed. And given some of what happened last year, you just want to see them bounce back real good. Last one comes from Daryl Madden. He says, undefeated. I love it.
Hey, I love the confidence. I'm glad you feel that way.
Get it.
I want to see it. I mean, it's a rarity in college football that we get that, but I do enjoy the fact that you have the confidence of it. Hey, scream it to the top mountaintops. I'm not on that island yet.
I'd be happy.
I would only
at home.
Look, I own land close to there, so I could build a small bridge to get there so it wouldn't take me long to get there. Believe me, when we do our predictions here on this show, which I've done mine on Unfair Sports, but we're going to do one here together, I could build a small bridge there. Just know that part. I just don't own real estate there yet. I gotta go talk to my broker tomorrow or my agent.
I mean, it's one of those things that's going to be very, very, very difficult to do in this day and age because of parity, because of the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness. The talent is more spread out than it ever has been. And so it's just going to be tough for any team to run the table and go 16-0 and win a national title. That's going to be really, really tough to do. But crazier things have happened, and the sport of college football can be very unpredictable at times. So I'm not going to completely write it off. 0.01% chance, but hey, you're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
And that's going to do it for this special edition of Locked On Sooners to get you ready for your college football weekend in week 0. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. We just crossed over 13,000 subscribers here on Locked On Sooners on the YouTube channel, and we cannot thank you enough for being a part of it, for hitting that subscribe button and making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Again, shout out to all of you, the everydayers here on Locked On Sooners. Thank you again for being a part of it. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner.
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 Boom. Doom, 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 doom.